power of hypnosis is phenomenal. It creates a whole new dimension within your brain, and it just helps you get from where you were to where you want to be very easily, without all the effort, without medication. It's very, very powerful. So the subconscious mind, at 95% of our brain's capacity, is what dictates our life. So when you can influence the subconscious mind, then it's very, very powerful.
Hello, and thank you for tuning in to Power Perspectives, People, Passion, Purpose. I'm Shannon, a transformation coach, and today my amazing guest is a master conscious hypnotherapist and professional coach. She's got a master's in hypnosis, business and leadership coaching, life coaching, a degree in commerce, an advanced diploma in wellness coaching, certification in advanced NLP, matrix therapy, timeline therapy, and MBIT coaching. From helping people achieve their dream weight to stopping substance abuse, to overcoming phobias, and even past life regressions. She's been awarded the Best Business of 2022 for excellence in the field of hypnotherapy by ThreeBest Rated. It's my pleasure to unravel the power perspective of Jade Williamson of Gold Coast Hypnotherapy and ExceedMe Professional Coaching. Welcome, Jade.
Well, I'm very grateful to be here with you. I've already learned so much in just, researching your field, researching you. We'd love to know. So, Jade, what is your story? Where did your passion for hypnotherapy come from?
Oh, my passion for hypnotherapy actually started when I was about 18 years of age, actually. Where it started was I did have a fear of going to the gym.
Okay.
Yeah. So, not that I want to be a victim or anything else, but I grew up in a family that was very weight conscious, and I then took on the traits of feeling that I was very overweight, and I became very paranoid if I had to go out in public and if I had to go to the gym. But I was very desperate to go to the gym and not worry about what anyone else thought of me. So that is actually where I was first introduced to hypnosis. Okay. And I went to a hypnotherapist once, and I came home from that hypnotherapist going from total fear of going to the gym to being a gym junkie.
Cool.
So I actually fell into hypnosis through coaching, believe it or not. I didn't actually go out there looking to become a hypnotherapist, but part of my master's coaching course was hypnotherapy. So I studied hypnotherapy, and as a coach, the hypnosis was so powerful in turning people around that it became very common for me to use both options. Yeah, coaching plus hypnotherapy.
Cool. Yeah. And you've got, again, so many modalities. What are you most passionate about in your work? And not just in terms of modalities, but just what you do every day and how you talk to people.
So I'm a very passionate person, as is.
I feel you.
My passion is to create happiness for my clients and to move them from where they are to where they want to be. And that's where they want to be, not where I want them to be, obviously. So I'm passionate about being solution focused. Yeah. There's no one-stop shop for any particular. You just cannot have a single focused solution for different individuals, because honestly, nobody has this, and this is an NLP term, nobody has the same map of the world, because our subconscious minds are so diverse and so different and so unique in situation and experience and memory and emotion that you cannot possibly have a one-stop solution to heal your clients or to transform into a new, on a new page.
I love that, because this show is called Power Perspectives, and it's accentuating how as many people as there are perspectives.
Yes.
And so I think as many healing modalities there are is how many perspectives there are as well in order to heal from
Yes. Nobody has the same perspective, Darren. Absolutely nobody in the world has the same perspective. And when you teach people that, a whole new paradigm opens up for them, because, perception and perspective is based on your own subconscious mind. and nobody's own subconscious mind is the same as the next person's. So nobody is ever going to have the same perspective as anybody else. So it's very, very powerful to be able to tap into that person's particular perspective and then understand where that's coming from, because unless you understand where that is coming from, then you can't heal that person, or you can't help them or transform them. We shouldn't use the word heal lightly, because not everybody needs to be healed. But it's a learning curve. Like, we are learning, and if you put yourself in the paradigm of, I want to learn and I want to grow and I want to develop, then that is healing within itself. Yeah.
You're changing your chemistry. A lot of things.
Yeah.
How do you deal with clients that may be really wanting to transform themselves, but they're skeptical or they don't believe they can be hypnotized?
Yes. Okay. And I'll have to tell you.
It's a big question.
It's an interesting question. I'll have to tell you, and this is a very, very interesting question. So in all my years of being a coach and a hypnotherapist, I would have to say that I've only probably come across a handful of people that were skeptical or judgmental on the process. Of course, there are other people that have a fears around hypnosis. However, so I always get to the bottom of that with them. Like, how are you feeling right now? And I pick up on their nerves, and if there are nerves, then I really bring them to the forefront, and then we manage the nerves and we talk about it in detail. And I wouldn't put anybody into hypnosis that was feeling in any way nervous. However, I have had a few clients, and I have to say only a few, that have gone into hypnosis from a very, very judgmental perspective, believing that it wasn't going to work, and of course it's not going to work. Yeah. So if you don't believe something's going to work, you're always going to stop yourself from progression. So yeah. And honestly, progression comes from a belief internally that I can transform myself, I can develop, I can grow. If I have a belief that nothing's going to work for me, then of course I'm not going to grow, I'm not going to develop, and I'm not going to be open. So open-mindedness is essential for growth and development and happiness.
That sounds right.
It really is. But to back to your question, the key is to meet with your clients initially, understand their needs, understand if there's any nerves, if there's any judgment. If there is, you need to address that individually with that particular client. And if you feel that client is still too cynical or too judgmental on the process, then in my experience now, I wouldn't go ahead. I just don't go ahead. Yeah. Because basically, when you're hypnotizing somebody, you have to get their permission that they trust you, and you have to get their permission that they're going to take your instruction. Okay, nobody's going to take your instruction if they have this preconceived judgment of what is going to happen.
But, have you found that some people are more easily hypnotized than other people, and what do you find is that common theme?
That's another.
These are all big questions.
No, but that's actually a really, really, really good question. So, and from my experience, openness is the beauty within. Like, if you are an open person, then you have a skill set and a trait that is going to really help you on your journey forwards to growth and development. Now, if you're not open, then there's a stoppage there, isn't there? That you're not going to grow. So when it comes to hypnosis, in saying that, some people are more susceptible than others, and the way that I can perceive that, or the way that I analyze that from a client perspective, is to look at, okay, are you right brain or are you left brain dominant? Because with our brains, our brain dominance really can determine what the outcomes are going to be of certain situations. But it's about the skill set of your brain dominance. So if you're more right brain, you're more creative and you're more
Visualizer.
yeah, you're more visual, exactly, and you are open to creativity. So you're actually able to access your creative brain to a much higher level, like a much more powerful level. Whereas if you're left brain, you tend to be more analytical and you tend to be more organised. Then it is not so easy for you to go into hypnosis because you tend to have that natural analytical brain. You want to question things more. You're not so easily, well, I shouldn't even say encouraged, but you're not so easily moved to a visual or a creative dimension. Does that make sense? Yeah. So if you're a left brain, then your brain may be more active in what is going on now. What am I supposed to do? Am I breathing correctly? Am I doing this correctly? Like you're asking yourself more questions.
You're more am I doing it right?
Exactly. So you're more analytical on the whole process within itself. So in saying that, there's a big difference between hypnotising someone that's left brain to hypnotising somebody that's right brain.
And can you still work with everyone equally? It just takes you and them a bit more delving, diving deeper.
Yeah. So once you understand them, then there's different techniques for moving somebody into hypnosis that's suitable for their brain dominance. So for example, a creative person, right brain person, may tend to go into hypnosis much faster. Mm-hmm. So you don't want to have the same, strategy with them as you would a left brain person because you're going to knock them out. You'll probably put them to sleep. Whereas left brain can take a little bit longer. So you use different tactics and you use more engaging brain strategies and so forth to help them relax and to switch their mind off consciously what they are thinking.
Their subconscious. How does hypnotherapy rewire a no longer serving subconscious program to a more desirable?
Yeah. Now, they say that our subconscious and unconscious mind takes up about 95% of our brain's capacity. So this part of the brain that we don't realise is registering there in the background, that we don't realise is there, is 95% of our brain's capacity. The other 5% is our consciousness, and our consciousness is what we're doing right now. So right now, you and I are using our conscious abilities to be able to converse with each other. So with our consciousness, we're utilising information and drawing it in through our senses. And everybody takes in information through our senses differently. No one takes in the same information. In fact, there's about 2 million bits of information coming to us at any one point in time, and we can only take in, so they say, 134 bits of those 2 million bits of information. And what we decide to take in through our senses is based upon what's in our subconscious mind. So our subconscious, that 95% that we don't realise, it's like the computer of the brain. It's just there programming in the background, right? So the computer of the brain determines, in a way of filtering, distorting and deleting information, what we should take in of those 2 million bits of information. So whilst I'm talking to you, you may be looking at my hands. You may be looking at the colours of the plants over there. You may be looking at my face. But you can only take in 134 bits of your brain capacity, of the 2 million bits coming in, based on what your subconscious wants you to bring in. So your subconscious decides what it wants to filter. So let me give you an example. So say you're driving down the street with your partner or whoever, girlfriend, partner, whatever, boyfriend, and you love red cars because you've always had a love for red cars. You might have had a passion for red cars when you were young, and your partner or friend or whoever you're with loves black cars, and they particularly love black sports cars, right? So you're driving down the street. Now, you of the 2 million bits of information coming around you at any one time, you're going to see the red cars. But your partner that loves black cars is not going to see the red cars because they're going to distort and delete whatever is in their environment, so they will see what they want to see of that 2 million bits of information. Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
So they'll see the black cards, and you won't see the black cards.
So that's our reticular activating system?
Yeah.
But is it accurate for me to say, just in another way so I can process it, so nothing has a meaning or a perspective until I give it one. It's just random raw data until my subconscious's filter programs it into, oh, this is the fear of this is the color of car we like, this is the person.
Yes.
So it doesn't have any meaning until those 134 bits are reinterpreted and filtered back in through my subconscious.
Absolutely.
So if I want to change something about that subconscious programming, I've got to change what the filter is, change the original programming. And that's what hypnotherapy can help us do?
Absolutely. And that's what we do through hypnotherapy. So with hypnotherapy, your subconscious mind is a collection of your thoughts, your perceptions, like you were saying, all of your memories, all of your experiences, all of your values, all of your habits. So, and when I say habits, that's not to be taken lightly, because as humans, we have so many habits. Like everything we do from day to day is, not everything we do, but the majority of what we do is habitual. And a lot of what we do is called unconscious competence. And when I say, you know what unconscious competence is? Yeah, unconscious competence is where you just do it.
You don't know
without even realising that you're doing it.
You know that
like
driving after
exactly. You drive to work, you're in a trance, because we're in a trance the majority of our day.
But when you're in a state of hypnosis, is it right to say that that's when the door to theta brainwaves is wide open?
Okay. So with hypnosis, yes, of course you want to activate the theta brainwaves or open or encourage theta brainwave activity, which is what they say we are in from the ages of 0 to 7. So theta brainwave consciousness is where our brain is like a sponge, and we can actually take in new information because we're not conscious. So when I say not conscious, we've shut down those senses.
You're not filtering them. You're not defining them. You're just learning.
Exactly. Yeah. So the conscious mind that I was talking about before, where we take in those 134 bits of information, the conscious mind is shut down during hypnosis. So we don't filter what we decide to bring in of those 2 million bits. So of the 2 million bits, we're deciding what to bring in because of what's in our subconscious mind. Now, if we shut down the conscious mind and we basically, it's like we numb it and we put it it's like going half to sleep. So then you're not, like you said, filtering, deleting or distorting information that comes in, but you are susceptible to the information that the hypnotherapist is saying to you at that point in time. And so it's the power, they call it the power of suggestion. So with each habit that we run, or with each strategy that we run, there's a neural pathway in our brain that is firing electrically. Like it's an automatic firing response. So it's triggering this, triggering that, and it's activating the sensors within our brain to get to the outcome. Okay, so if we do hypnosis, what our goal is to shut down the neural pathways, or to basically cut the neural pathways in the brain that are doing that habit.
Is it pruning, that term, neural pruning? Or is that one?
That is one term, yeah. And you can call it neural pruning, you can call it neural development. Yeah, absolutely. Yes, so we are ceasing the firing of that neural pathway, and the way that we cease to fire a neural pathway is to create a habit of creating a new neural pathway that is more dominant on the old pathway that used to fire.
More important to that person.
Yes. And so to be more important, you have to have a want to rehearse it and to practice it.
Strong emotion, is that the want?
Yeah, an emotion, a need, a determination, and, a gut instinct or a necessity. Like there are people come in with necessities. They've got to let go of that old habit, and they have to create a new habit. And I quite often say, you know, creating a new habit, creating a new pathway, it starts with you. Like it starts with your want, your need, or the client's want, the client's need. And then once we've got the need and we've got the necessity and the determination, then we can support that through hypnosis. And then we need to continue to practice that, because then once we practice it, it becomes unconscious competence.
And that's the next habit then that will stick.
Exactly.
I love one of you made me think of this quote so much. It's Tony Robbins. It's forever with me, but it's like when the pain of staying the same is greater than the pain of change, that's when change will happen. So I'm assuming that's when people make the call.
Yeah.
And we were talking earlier about, I might have, 25, 30 clients a week, and then after they might have a holiday, it's like, okay, they've realized that little break was a nice.
Yes.
But then they still need to do the deeper work.
Yes.
So then they'll contact you again after that holiday, be like, look, I think I've got to change the inner, deeper dialogue program to help me.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what happens. But in terms of areas that I support, to be honest with you, every area, because I don't judge anyone on any level, and I believe that if anybody feels that they need support, then they're worthy of that support, because their subconscious mind has obviously got filters, or got predetermined dispositions based on how they were raised that they didn't even know about, they weren't even conscious about. So nobody should be pushed away or judged, as far as I'm concerned.
Have any experiences with your clients or after they've left had a profound impact on your practice as a hypnotherapist?
I have.
Or does it happen every day?
Yeah. I as a hypnotherapist, you have to protect yourself energetically. I suppose the profound impact I have is I do feel that once you have worked with somebody on an energetic level, that you are actually connected with them through the quantum field. So quantum physics, and that's another whole area of, it's very, very interesting area. But once we connect with somebody's energy, then you are connected with them through the matrix, which is through the quantum field of energy.
Quantum entanglement?
Yes, it's like, exactly, you can call it entanglement. And so then all of a sudden, if you're a very energy-based person, you can feel their energy when they're gone or when they're away from you. So I suppose I have some profound experiences where I'm intuitively picking up on other people's energies. You may not necessarily know whose energy it is that you're picking up on in any particular moment in time. But yeah, so I suppose it's a playing field.
Interesting. Your day must be interesting every day.
Every day is very interesting, and every client is individual and has their own needs. And I absolutely love what I do. It's fascinating and very powerful for my clients, empowering. Yeah, absolutely love it. So MBIT is a form of coaching that I do, and MBIT is about your whole. It's about whole brain integration, and when we talk about whole brain, basically we've got 3 brains within our body. We've got our head brain, which is our cognitive brain, our heart brain, and our gut brain. Now, our head brain is where we do our thinking and our strategizing, and that's our cognitive, component. Our cognitive abilities are in our head brain. Now, then we've got our heart brain, which is where we do all our emoting, and our emoting is where we do our emotions and we hold our values, and our values are very, very strong to us. So we are often guided by our values and driven by our values, and we have very strong emotions around our values, and that is fundamentally contained within our heart brain. And then we've got our gut brain, which according to the MBIT philosophy, which has science behind it, is where we do our, which is, it's all about safety and security.
Yeah.
So it
Gut
mobilises us.
Yeah.
Our gut brain mobilises us. And they do say that our gut brain is the most intelligent brain of the body, whereas we generally just think we've got one brain, but we don't. We've got three. And if you think about it, when you're in the womb, you develop intelligence through your gut brain first, through the umbilical cord.
I'll say gut first. I thought it was heart first. That's good.
Yeah.
Gut
Yes,
first.
it's your gut first.
Cool.
So that's why they say go with the gut.
Yeah.
Right? They say the centre of your intuition is within your gut. And so if something's not right, you actually feel it in your stomach, like you may feel butterflies, or you may feel a bit sick or queasy, and you will stop or you will move faster. So it's what mobilises you. And quite often people who are struggling to move forward are stuck in their gut brain.
You can get physically constipated
Yes.
or gut issues because of that.
Absolutely.
Do you believe that all emotions are stored in the body?
I do believe
Is there not properly released?
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely. All your emotions are stored within your body, they're not really. Yeah, and our emotions start generally with the brain, with our thoughts, and then they go down to the heart, then they go down to the gut. And so they go through the whole body, and then they stay in your subconscious mind. They'll always be in your subconscious mind, but the only way you can change an emotion is if you work on that emotion.
And do you have to feel it again? Or can you acknowledge to kind of just change an underlying structure without feeling it again if you've already done some of that work?
So that's a very good question. Emotions are all about feelings generally. So the way that we heal emotions is by asking clients to get in touch with the feeling behind the emotion. And so generally there will be a feeling somewhere within the body associated with that emotion. If you can't feel the emotion, it is more difficult to release the emotion.
That makes sense.
Because you're blocking the emotion. So if you're not feeling an emotion, then you've got a blocker to it, and then it's suppressed. So if you've got a suppressed emotion, then it's sitting there somewhere within the subconscious mind, and it will stay there until you make the conscious decision, yes, I want to release this.
That makes sense, like you've given yourself a permission.
Yeah.
That's great.
Exactly. But back to the three brains, so back to the Inbrain. And so MBIT is all about, okay, so what we as humans usually do is we usually activate one of our brains more so than the other. So most of us may live more in the head space. I shouldn't say most of us. A percentage of us would live in the head space where you would say, you're in your head. You're too much in your head. So you're thinking, you're overthinking, you're analysing. You're doing the cognitive stuff.
Yeah.
You're strategizing. You're anticipating.
Yeah.
Right? So that's all head space, head brain stuff. Yeah. Now, if you find yourself overthinking, then you're not actually getting in touch with your heart space, the emotion, and your gut space, the safety and security of the decision that you're actually making. So MBIT's all about getting in touch with all three brains.
Aligning them. And how do you know when you're in alignment? Is it just the feeling that you feel good? You feel content?
It's when you have the right answer to the question that you're in doubt of, or the question that you cannot find the solution to. So Inbrain is all about you as a person answering a question that you could not answer before. And the reason that you can't generally answer a question in your own mind is because you're not activating your brains. So once you get in touch with your head brain, your heart brain, your gut back brain, and then you find congruence within those three brains, then you feel a release because you got the answer to your question. And then you can go forth and carry through with what solutions you've created in that session. And they call it congruence, and it's all about the vagus vein then becoming aligned. And so you actually activating all chakras as well.
That's great. I could talk to you for another couple hours. I know we're kind of running out of time, but just with a little bit of control is something I wanted to talk about, because surrender is a big deal. And in order to feel what you need to feel, you've got to be okay to at least know that you can process it. So what would you say to people that they're considering hypnotherapy, but they don't want to feel like they're out of control? Even though in some states it's like you're in more control because you're accessing more of who you really are.
Yeah. Okay. So what I would do with the client with that is basically get to understand exactly why they are struggling to let go of control.
Yeah.
And again, it's a very individualized perspective and perceptive of what control is going to give you, what's going to happen when you're going to let go of control. So really it is about working with that individual to relax them and to basically release them. So quite often control is around, like, if somebody comes in and they feel that they don't want to let go of control, that it can also be actually it can also be a subconscious habit that they're holding on to. When I say habit, from the ages of 0 to 7, in your imprint years, you can be encouraged to take on an emotion or a feeling based on how you're raised, and this goes straight into the unconscious mind.
Your primary caregivers, or their parents, or whoever.
Yes. So, for example, say the emotion of distrust or the emotion of abandonment generally is created, and if it's very significant, imprinted in your subconscious mind from a very young age, and you don't even realise it's there. But because you get used to having that trait, you become to almost need to rely on it.
We're less afraid of the known than we are of a better feeling,
exactly,
because it's unknown.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So you're used to the energy of distrust, or you're used to the energy of
familiarity is more reassuring than
Okay.
Yeah. And it's crazy when you think about it, but it's just how humans have taught each other to function for generations.
It's habitual. It's again habits that are formed within the brain, which becomes unconscious competence. And sometimes you may feel that you don't want that anymore, but because you're so used to having that, it's difficult to let it go. And that's quite often where control, I find, comes in. So you've got to really understand the client. You've got to really work with them on that level. Do they actually want to let this go, or do they want to stay stuck where they are? And so when you start to empathise with the client, and they gain trust in you, then they can sort of then they can generally let go of the control if they want to. Some people never will, because they just don't want to.
And they really base their survival on this habituation is what I need to stay alive.
Yeah.
So nerdy question here.
Yeah.
Book or movie or something that's changed your life, and maybe it's a powerful quote that you kind of stick by.
With happiness, or absolute happiness. That's it.
Okay,
absolute happiness. And that is a really, really easy to follow book to understand how to take yourself from where you were to where you want to be. And the quote out of that book, which I love to use, is, I'm not in control of, I am in control of my mind is not in control of me. So one of the famous quotes that I do use from that particular book is, I'm in control of my mind, it's not in control of me. So if we find that our thoughts are running away with us, we want to let go of that and realise that we're actually in control of those thoughts, and we can stop them. And we have the power to do that.
It's brilliant. And if I can ask, what do you wish that more people knew about your work? Or didn't have a stigma about, or what do you just wish more people knew about hypnosis, and not, get on a stage and you can bark like a dog here and have sex with a chair.
Bark like a chicken? Or, what do I wish people knew? You know what? I feel that everybody's on their own journey, and when the time is right for them, they'll know that they need to get support for themselves if they need it. However, I suppose the good thing for people to know is that the power of hypnosis is phenomenal. It creates a whole new dimension within your brain, and just helps you get from where you were to where you want to be very easily, without all the effort, without medication. You know, it's very, very powerful. So the subconscious mind, at 95% of our brain's capacity, is what dictates our life. So when you can influence the subconscious mind, then it's very, very powerful.
And thank you, Jade. And we're going to give, so where can people find you? Where can, if someone's out there like, how can I book this lady, or just find out more details, where can we find you?
So I've got two websites. One is www.gchypnotherapy.com.au, and that's goldcoasthypnotherapy.com.au, so GC. And the other is www.exceedme.com.au, so it's EXCEEDME.com.au, and ExceedMe is all about exceeding yourself where you are now. So that's the coaching website. Yeah.
Brilliant. Yeah. Professional life coach, Master Hypnosis Therapist.
Yeah.
That's great.
Absolutely.
Jade, thank you so
it's
much.
a pleasure.
Thank you, Jade Williamson. Check her out for more information on the exciting world of hypnotherapy. Like and subscribe if you got any benefit out of today's conversation, and stay tuned for the next episode of Power Perspectives coming soon. Hope you always remember your perspective is your most powerful tool to change what anything means to you, anywhere, anytime. I'm Shannon. Thanks for being here with me. It means a lot. Have an amazing day.